Na 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 na
Na na na na na na.
The Jim and Zopecast.
The Jim and Zopecast.
The Jim and Zopecast.
The Jim and Zopecast.
You can't tell what that is, right?
Looks like genuine draft to me. That's some sweet genuine draft you got there, Jim.
I'm gonna say Miller.
I'm about to start this mother father.
Yeah, let me pull up. Let me have this picture in the background.
Yeah, good.
Hey, Pittsburgh, are you ready?
Loading Jim and Zopecast.
Here we go, Steelers. Feed 'em, Bucks. Let's go, Pens. Live from Mixler and the pulse of all things Steel City, it's Pittsburgh's favorite podcast, starring Jim.
Hey, dude, I want to do a recording for the intro. Do you got anything that you want to do?
I'll be home in like 10-15 minutes. Are you able to wait a little bit?
And Zope.
No, you got to do it right now. What is it? Say it right now.
I don't know. What are you thinking about doing?
I'm telling you right now. I need you to record. I'm recording you right now.
I would do something like that.
That's what I do, dude.
It's the Jim and Zopecast.
This is Mike Rossi.
This is Mike Rossi.
This is Mike Rossi. Mike Rossi. Ross.
Money!
Here we go. You're listening to the Jim and Zopecast right now. Right now. Right now. You're listening to the Jim and Zopecast.
The views and opinions expressed on the Jim and Zopecast are solely those of the individual stating them and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Jim and Zopecast. Listener discretion is advised.
James, what's going on, dude?
Roboty!
Yeah, I thought I'd bring that back.
What's that?
I said I thought I'd bring it back.
It's been a while. Got the man, the myth, the legend right there.
So you want to let everybody know what's going on?
What is going on? This is our 2 week in a row show, dude. That's pretty awesome.
It's unnecessary roughness.
Anyway, yeah. Tonight we have world famous director Bobby Roe, all the way calling in from California. Directed The Houses October Built, so pretty pumped about that one there.
And
I know
this is
you
our
are
second
too.
director too, which is pretty interesting.
Second director in a row. I think that's a pretty good thing.
You didn't tell what chapter it is, dude.
Oh, we're going all the way to that already?
I didn't know we were waiting.
Docs.
Huh?
You didn't send me any kind of docs, did you?
Yeah.
I never got one.
Hold on. Sending that real quick here. Well, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, you know what chapter it is, right? I mean, you can at least get through that.
56,
right?
I guess. Yeah, chapter 56 of the one and only world famous Jim and Zopecast. As always, I am your host, Jim.
And I'm Zope.
Okay. All right, just got the email. Hold on, I'm opening it. All right.
I'll go over the teaser.
56. Yeah, you're good. All right, here it is. Yeah,
let's see.
There you go.
So, as Jim said, we are doing the interview with Bobby Roe, the director of The Houses That Halloween Built.
No, October Built.
What's that?
The Houses October Built.
I thought it was Houses That Halloween Built.
No, October.
Is there literally a movie with that other name?
No idea. Not the one we're going to be talking about tonight, so please remember that. He'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Let's see. We might get. I guess we are going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about some virtual reality with Jim, Greg, and Cassie. But I might wait till a little bit later before we bring that up because I do want to bring up this Seinfeld comment that he made on the show Friends, and September 7th event with Apple, and I think that's about it. So, James, you want to tell?
I mean, we don't know how much time we're going to have with him, but we'll see what happens. Who knows?
Do you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Sure, what the hell. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, and I thank Twitter for allowing us to access these famous people, because that's how I'm getting all these directors, is through Twitter. Reddit, tune in. Just search Jim and Zope or Jim and Zope Cast, and you can find all of our archived episodes over there. It's always fun.
Is it though? Is
No.
it?
No.
Let's see. So you want to go over our I have our month on there because I'm an idiot and I didn't change it to our week. But did you do anything this past week?
No. We had 2 fantasy football drafts. That's about it.
Oh yeah.
I
forgot about
there
that.
on Wednesday, and then me and Aaron did one on Saturday together. So I had 2.
I forgot about the fantasy football draft. That was a good time. Jeff,
Yeah,
dude, he makes quite the mark.
I do want to say rest in peace to Gene Wilder. Just passed away.
Oh really?
He was on one of our lists a while back. I don't know which one of us picked him, but I guess it doesn't count now.
No, I'm pretty sure we're not doing the death pool anymore. We can't win.
I think I'm the one that picked him way back in like December, so I think I should get it.
No,
But no, all right.
no, I don't think that's how it works.
Shit to bed. But no. Other than that, didn't really. I went out and hung out with Jeff a little bit last night up in Pittsburgh. Other than that, didn't really do anything else.
Where'd you guys go?
To eat a couple local places around him, just to have a drink, and then
Smiling Moose, dude.
then down to Bicycle Bar for 1, and then went home. We were home by 11.
I did the Gateway Clipper thing, which ended up being far different than what we expected. You would have really enjoyed it, though.
You better laugh while you say that, because I know damn well that ain't true.
No, it was. It was.
You can be honest, dude.
Huh? No, it was just. It was interesting. Let's put it that way. Basically, and I might as well tell everybody this. So I had a birthday party on the Gateway Clipper, and I was told by our friend Aaron that it was a '90s night, and that it was supposed to be like 90s music and stuff like that, and that you can, people were dressing up and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. He's telling me I should go there for my birthday. So me and a bunch of our friends, we end up getting tickets and stuff, and a bunch of us all dress up. I mean, I'm definitely dressed up like it's the 90s. I'm dressed up like it's the 90s, and I'm a huge fan of like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Like I have like the freaking highlights in my hair and stuff like that. So we get there, and we find out that it's 90s R&B night, and it's not just like random 90s, because we're expecting like Ace of Base and different stuff like that. Well, no, it was a 90s R&B night, and basically we were like the only white people on the boat, which I don't care. I've been to clubs in North Carolina and stuff where I actually went to a karaoke club where I was the only white person there, and it ended up being hilarious because I did Backstreet Boys. They thought it was funny. Everybody was real cool and nice. This was a little bit different. They weren't exactly that nice. So I saw a bunch of guys wearing wearing Black Lives Matter shirts and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, somebody's gonna try to kill me. But it didn't really help that I was also like, if I was just dressed normally, it would be one thing. But I like dressed like the whitest person known to man. It was almost like mocking how white that I dressed, like putting freaking highlights in my hair. Like you can't get any whiter than I dressed. So it was pretty interesting. But whatever. We saw it a good time, and we went out afterwards, got some breakfast at Eaton Park. So.
Yeah, of course.
wouldn't be a night without that. Breakfast.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was definitely a last minute decision on my part. I mean, I could it would have been stupid for me to try to go, but I wanted to try to go just because, but yeah, Aaron said you're damn well glad I didn't.
I don't think you would have gotten on the boat. I mean, but you're not a big fan of. Now let me hold on. Let's just put this out there that that it would have been because of the music. Jim does not like that style of music. I don't want people to think that you wouldn't have got on the boat because you're racist. So it's Jim hates. Jim does not like that type of music at all. So that he wouldn't have been digging that. Not that I'm necessarily a huge fan of it, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, I listened to it mostly when I was younger, but although they were playing the newer stuff, like I was like, are you at least going to play the 90s stuff? When they were playing newer stuff, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I really don't like that stuff. So
it's just,
it was cool though.
But what made me not want to go is because the outfit that I had planned to wear, it should have been over my parents' house. Well, when I went and tried to find it, it wasn't there. Gladly, because that was going to be what I used to wear when I was like 17 and 16, which was basically baggy pants, FUBU shirt, and a crooked hat.
That would have been so awesome.
It would have been fucking ridiculous if I walked on that boat with those people and us and me dressed like that.
Dude, if you would have showed up with a FUBU jersey on, I don't know what would have happened, dude. It would have. I can't imagine it would have went over well.
It should have been probably the best night of our lives. Like I might have just been like, "This dude's awesome," and they might have just welcomed me in.
They probably, I mean, yeah, you'd have probably been taught out of Dougie and everything. I mean, it would.
Or just ended up in the Allegheny.
No, I mean, well, that's what I mean, and that's actually kind of what I half expected was something like that to happen, but it didn't happen that way. Like when I was in North Carolina, like I said, everybody thought it was hilarious. They were like, everybody was super nice to me. When I went up there and did karaoke, like I think I did Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, I can't remember. But dude, they thought it was hilarious and they were all like cheering for me and stuff. Like everybody was totally cool. And I was kind of expecting it to be like that since it was so obvious that it was weird that, we were the only, like we were there and we were so out of place. But no, people weren't generally nice. So I don't know what else to say. What are you gonna do?
Definitely one of them things, man. You better do a little more research before you go on your next
blame Aaron,
birthday.
Dude. What do you want to do, huh? What do you want to do?
Aaron. It's all Aaron's fault, dude. What do you want to do?
So let's see. Oh yeah. You gave him the phone number, right? For the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, like, that would be pretty bad if you didn't give him the phone number. We'll skip past, like, I have that saved on there, so we could basically get to that whenever he calls in. I wanted to talk about virtual reality. Now, the first thing is that both Greg and Cassie did the horror game, and you did not because you were afraid. And everybody wants to know, why the hell were you not able to do it? And yet Greg and Cassie are doing it. Cassie was screaming.
I wasn't in the mood, the mindset for it yet.
Dude.
I was like, literally, realistically, I was, when I first put it on, it was a little overwhelming, dude. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never done it before. So
yeah.
At that point, I was just kind of like, let me ease into this. Now coming back, like next time over your house, I'll have no problem with it because I'll know what to expect.
When you said it was overwhelming, did it bother you? Like, did you not like it?
It just messed with my, like, I don't know. Whatever part of your brain is just like that. At first, I was like, "This is real." Like, even though I knew it wasn't, I'm like, "This dinosaur is gonna fucking kill me right now." Like, you know what I mean? And like, I am legitimately like, heights freak me out. So the building part where you said step forward, it scared me because I'm afraid of fucking heights.
It does that to everybody, dude. So you're not in like the minority here or anything. Like that's pretty typical.
It's supposed to do. It's supposed to do that. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'll put the horror off till next time, and then I'll be okay. Now I know what to expect.
Yeah, it does get freaky. I mean, like I said, I played through a lot of the horror game, and I'm not even like I said, I don't really dig horror movies or anything, but to me, it's really cool because it's a legitimate reason to be scared when you're in there, you're enclosed. And you're seeing like something maybe come after you. Like you should have heard Cassie, dude. She literally screamed at the top of. I mean, she scared me and everybody else in the room when she yelled. It was like a blood curdling scream, and she did it multiple times. It was pretty crazy, and it's just one of those things, man. It's hilarious. Whenever you try it next time, I'll put my watch on you, and that way, what we can do is I'll record you doing it because we can put it on our YouTube. and I'll watch your pulse. Yeah, I'll watch your heart rate go up, because it will most definitely go up. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I told him, I was like, yeah, Jim. I'm like, Jim actually was not able to do this. He would not try this. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, I was surprised too. I'm like, as obsessed as he is with horror stuff.
But I had reasons. It wasn't because I'm afraid of it. I just didn't have the mindset at the time. That's all. And I kind of wanted to save a little bit of dignity that day. It's okay to walk away and play another day.
So you're saying you're going to come back and you're going to try it again?
Of course.
What would you say was was probably like your favorite experience on it, though?
The coolest part was the T-Rex in the museum thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
Because you hear the Jurassic Park type steps and shit. You're like, what's going on? And I looked and I'm like, this is like Night of the Museum shit. And then he turned that corner. I'm like, God, this is great. The space thing too, because I love outer space. Being up in all that up in space and doing all that shit was pretty cool.
Oh, we're getting a phone call.
Bring him on.
Call from
Bobby Roe.
to accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello.
Hey, Jim, it's Bobby Roe. How you doing?
Hey, good, Bobby. How you doing?
Not too bad. Are you guys on air right now?
We are live on the air. You got me and you got my co-host Bobby here.
What's going on?
Sounds good. Nothing. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you coming on.
No problem. What do you guys want to talk about today?
Well, basically what we did last week, we had I basically watched a movie on Netflix, and we had the director of that film on, and we just basically talked about his process, his film, all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up finding yours, which was the House is October Built, and I loved it. I've watched it multiple times. Bobby is kind of the opposite way with me. He doesn't like horror movies very much. I'm a big horror fan. So I just basically, figured we'd get on. You tell us about your experience in making the movie, what brought you to making the movie, and things like that. If you're able to just chat about that a little bit.
Sure. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, we tried to take a different approach. We were they're really tired of found footage, as I know most people are. And we wanted to do it in a more realistic way. We tried to go back to the root of the word found footage, and we wanted people to believe what they were seeing. You can only do that so much, but the thought behind it was, initially, the butt of the idea was, if a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make a sound type of thing. If you're in a haunted house, have you ever seen a dead body? You can't tell me for sure that you haven't. And I like that idea and the questioning, because they sell scents now that are exact scent of a dead body that you can buy and put in there. We've heard stories of people using roadkill, stuff like that. So we thought, okay, why don't we write a narrative around that and try to incorporate all these, amazing places, these amazing houses that people have built all across the country, and kind of highlight a lot of these scare actors who really work their ass off and pretty much go underappreciated each Halloween, because most of the guys, they have normal jobs and they come out at 5 o'clock and work till 4 in the morning all through October or September in some places. So we thought, okay, let's figure out a way to write a story around that. I grew up actually in Texas, and that was kind of what you did. You went to a horror movie and then you went to a haunted house around Halloween. And so it was just really interesting for us to kind of incorporate, and we used all real scare actors and real places, because we kind of wanted you to be able to follow along if you wanted to. And what was kind of neat is Bloody Disgusting, the website, came to us and had us make a map, I think last Halloween or 2 Halloweens ago, so people could follow and go to the exact same real haunted house as we did, and kind of maybe meet the same people that are in the movie, Porcelain, the giant clown, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did not know that those... I thought that they were all actors. I didn't know that those were real people. Like, or I'm sorry,
we
I didn't know that
figured,
those were people that were working. You know what I mean?
Right, no, absolutely. And it was funny because we had this whole meeting about it beforehand, and I thought, well, look, these guys have perfected their character for the past 5-6 years, every Halloween, maybe longer. What am I going to, if I go cast some actor who's going to learn and give me some part that he spent 2 weeks on, why not go back to kind of the root of it and somebody who was really, blood and tears through this thing, and they've created their own persona, and let's put that on screen, because to me that kind of translated better, and it also helped with the whole organic approach we were trying to take, and that's why it kind of has a slow burn to it, because if too much is shown early or there's blood, people are going to check out and they're just not going to believe what they're seeing. So that was just kind of a big thing that hopefully worked for most people. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely worked for me. I mean, like I said in our communications, me and Bobby both in high school worked in a haunted house in our area, and it that right away, the reality of it, I knew right away that those were real actors. You were actually going through real haunted houses. I mean, that kind of stuff it resonated with me. Like, yeah, we've been in, after we started our podcast, we actually went back to our old haunted house and interviewed like the owner again and some of the workers, and it was pretty cool going back in and sitting down and talking to them and reminiscing about how we used to do things and how they do things now. And like, just watching your film was just that. I love that slow burn thing, the stalker type issues, and I love that they didn't stop, that they just kept going and wanted to see the scariest trail they could find and all that. I really enjoyed watching it.
Cool. What haunt did you guys work at?
It's called Freddy's Haunts. It's a local small scale type one down here outside of Pittsburgh, PA.
They do have. I mean,
I think but at any scale, like we've been to the big, giant ones and then the small mom and pop ones, and mostly the mom and pops to me have so much more of a feel to them. They're personalized. I enjoy them more. I enjoy talking to the guys afterwards, and that was kind of a highlight for us. Is we didn't know how anything would be perceived in the haunt community. I mean, we're basically just doing a haunted house version of what they do nightly. And we did a press tour for the movie in fall 2014, and so the studio gave us an RV, and we went around and did the same thing, but more talking to people and doing interviews and stuff like that. And what was really neat is the scare actors were the ones that came up to us, and they just said they appreciated. Nobody had put them on the big screen before. Most people didn't know what they did. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, when you say the word haunted house, I mean, we were in meetings with execs beforehand trying to pitch it, and they're like, well, when does the ghost show up? And I said, there's no ghosts. There's no paranormal. There's none of that. It's just, that's what scares me, and that's kind of why we started with the quote that we did for that movie, because it's what human beings do to other human beings that's actually scary to me. Something like The Strangers always kind of freaked me out, as opposed to some of the other stuff that's over the top.
Yeah, and funny you brought that up about the ghost thing, because I'm also a paranormal investigator, and I volunteer at one of the haunted locations out here in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, so you work there like Halloween time and scare people?" I'm like, "No, it's an actual haunted building," and they're thinking haunted house like Halloween. So you had like the basically the same type of problem.
Yeah, no, we interviewed a paranormal investigator that was on site for one of the haunts, and the reason we didn't include it in the movie is because it took away, because some of the stuff he said was actually really creepy about this reading that he had in one of the rooms we were in, but it just took away from the grounded story that we were telling, and we were trying not to tell a ghost story, even though that was very cool and fun to hear. It just didn't fit in the rest of the movie and kind of pulled us away, I think, for what we were trying to do.
Yeah, definitely hit home the way I saw it. Bob, you have anything to say?
Yeah. I was gonna tell him. Well, I was gonna mention the guy Stinky, the clown who. Yeah. We actually ran into somebody, and it's funny because your movie actually kind of reminds me of this guy that we met once again at the small haunted trail, the one that we used to work at when we were younger. And he is his own character, and he's almost his character all year long. I mean, if you call him up on the phone or if you talk to him at any given time, he acts this way, and it's like what is real, what's what's going on there. It's a little bit creepy.
Some of these guys are way more method than you think. Like, they take it very, very seriously, and then sometimes they may get lost in it.
Yeah, it's borderline. You might need to get some help. I'm a little scared.
If you ever get a chance,
the studio didn't allow us to use it, but we actually kind of uncovered something that a scare actor used to go home each night wearing his costume, and after a while, people would see him on the street. He would just take it home. And he's a big guy. He's about 6'5". And he one day went home and he ended up killing his mom, his dad, and his sister. And that's real. That's a real story. That really happened. And they just kind of wanted, I guess, some of the stuff is funny is we were trying to be as honest, factually based as much as we could, that kind of thing. But that apparently hit too close to home for people, and they kind of wanted us to steer clear of it.
I could see. I mean, sometimes people, if somebody actually was involved in that situation and then saw the movie, that might, I don't know.
Yep. But it kind of blew me away that it actually happened.
Now, what are the names of? I know you said that Bloody Disgusting did a thing, but what are the names of some of the trails that you went to or the houses you went to in the movie?
We went everywhere from Thrillvania in Dallas. We went to the Cutting Edge in Fort Worth, which was actually the Guinness World Book of Records longest haunted house in the world. That was really cool. We went actually up through a lot of Austin, Houston area. There's a couple that still aren't there or that aren't there anymore. But we went to Phobia in Houston, which is a really big haunt. But some of it we just literally we had marks along the way that we were going to shoot for sure. But then sometimes we kind of pull off and see something that was just there are these amazing backdrops that you don't want to waste, especially during October. They're great. So we would kind of film scenes using those throughout, and some made it, and some are on the cutting room floor, but it doesn't mean they weren't really fun. There was just sometimes we wanted to show a variation, because you can only take so much of a haunted house in the blackness and a labyrinth. Some of them run together, so we were just trying to have different feels to them, like a zombie strip club.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah, which should be everywhere.
Should be everywhere. So the director last week told us that if he had maybe 10 to 15 more minutes in his runtime on his film, that he could have probably explained a lot of things better, but he had no control over. Did you have any issues like that making your film, or did it turn out to be exactly what you thought it was going to be?
No, there's a little both. There's always give and take. What maybe you guys would find interesting is on the Blu-ray version of the movie. So we originally, how we were telling you guys that they kind of weren't vibing with the whole thing about no ghosts. And so people didn't really understand that if it wasn't Universal Horror Nights or not Scary Farm, they didn't really understand it. Because if you didn't grow up maybe in the South or the Midwest, but now it's everywhere. But just kind of 10, 20 years ago, it was only in those places. So they didn't understand haunt. So we went and did it ourselves. We did our own version, everything, and then we ended up still in the studio, and then we kind of upped it with better music and better cameras and that kind of thing. But the original is actually on the Blu-ray, which is very much still a slow burn, but in ways feels a little more real because we didn't have to service jump scares the same way and that kind of stuff, which sometimes cheapen it, but I know some audiences really like it. But that one kind of really hits home on what we were trying to do without any strings attached. So that may be it just might be fun for you guys to watch kind of more close to Halloween. It's very raw, but very, very much the same type of movie with a lot more interviews, a lot more stuff like that, but basically the same story.
I have a quick question. I didn't IMDb or anything, and I'm assuming other people that are listening would want to know what other movies, or have you done any other movies that you really like and would suggest that people watch?
We're actually taking a bunch of I can't. I'm not allowed to say anything yet for a new movie for next year, but stuff in the past. It's basically we've worked on this version and the original probably in the last 4 to 5 years. So what's nice is we're kind of we've cleaned our hands of that in the past year, and kind of moving forward, and we just want to scare people in a different way. So from the horror side of things, we're looking at doing that, and that's what's kind of been happening in the past 3 months that hopefully we'll have an announcement rather soon about that we could share with you guys.
Well, at least you were able to share that you've got another horror movie coming up.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right, so I'm looking. Funny that Bobby here brought up, and I'm sorry, you both have the same first name, so I'm talking to my co-host Bobby here. He brought up the IMDb thing. Well, I actually just pulled it up, and a lot of stuff we learned that they leave off or just flat out aren't true or something like that. This is showing me about something in 2011 about the Houses October built. What's that?
So that's the original one that we're talking about that's on the Blu-ray as a special edition. So
Gotcha.
There's two. That's the original raw version of the movie.
So the real release into 2014. How long ago was it actually made before it was released?
That was made 2012 to 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's showing me Superman Returns. Did you have something to do with that?
I started off. I went to UCLA to play baseball. And what was strange is right after school, I was in graduate school for film, and at that time we were still using film, and so we weren't digital yet. And to just be able to throw a strike saves a production tons and tons of money. And so I started getting calls. They have the same kind of group of people when they're not grabbing faces that you would know from the MLB. They would grab other people that can kind of play the part. And that's actually how I got my SAG card. Is I was Roger Clemens' stunt double. And I'm a lefty, so they wrote Clemens backwards and they flopped the shot. But surprisingly enough, I did that for Zack Snyder. And then all these kind of baseball or sports gigs kind of came up, which was really cool to me because it was very, very much a learning process watching these bigger directors from set. That I feel like some of that experience was far better than things I got in film school from a lot of bitter professors.
Oh, okay.
That's super cool.
So on Superman Returns, I did the baseball stunts and the scene where he comes down and stops the plane from coming into. We actually filmed it in Dodger Stadium, but so things like that. So it's probably not my face as much, but. What else? I died of a lethal injection of steroid. John Hamm kills me in Numbers.
Really?
He was my agent and killed me with a lethal injection of steroids on that show Numbers. So
that is cool.
Oh my gosh!
It's so strange. I had to do a photo shoot with my fake family because when I die, it's like the CSI thing where your wife comes in and she's a suspect. And for some reason, my mom still has my fake family hanging on her wall at home. It's very strange.
And you were in the Longest Yard with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, I did the football stunts for them. They did all the prison games with the prisoners and the guards.
All right.
So I just helped out. I mean, there's 20 of us doing those. I mean, they're not Light Me on Fire stunts. They're sports stunts, but still, they were fun.
Still, you're there. It's on it's in your history. It's in your past. I mean,
but no, those things really are helpful because I had a different purpose. It wasn't as much. I wasn't trying to be an actor the same way a lot of these other guys were. I always wanted to direct, so paying attention on set as much as I could. And most of those movies are pretty big directors, so it was kind of nice seeing them. And even seeing somebody like where Zack Snyder started. I mean, he had just finished Dawn of the Dead, and we would kind of go over to his house and for wardrobe fittings and stuff like that. And he had 300 storyboards all over the house, which was really cool to see because at the time we didn't know what it was. So that was just interesting to see other people's process and try to soak as much in as you could.
That was awesome. So like I said, the reason why we had you on because we saw this movie, and I actually, when I found your Twitter, I actually got to talking to one of the other shows that reviewed the film, Death by Podcast. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I started talking to them, and I'm actually gonna might be doing something with them on a second podcast we're trying to shoot or have on their website. So
yeah, they sent me their episode. Mike seemed to really like it and kind of get what we were doing. The other guys didn't, but it's okay. Like the movie's kind of polarizing, and I'm okay with that because I think a lot of people want it wrapped in a bow, and that's fine. And I'm totally cool with understanding that ending on wanting more. And there's parts of me that would change up. The other part is if I give you anything else really, really different or violent or whatever, you're going to be pulled out of everything we tried to accomplish throughout that to kind of bait you along and to have you believe what you're seeing is real. And so it's a tough call on some of that. So to a lot of people, that cut to black, spoiler alert, bothers some people. But I'll just say that there's more to that story we can tell down the road.
Yeah. Well, for me, it definitely was something I enjoyed watching. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to compare found footage films to probably Blair Witch. And personally, this had a lot more it kept me focused more than Blair Witch did. So if that's saying anything, you know what I mean?
No,
but
I'm glad because Blair Witch, I mean, look, everybody tries to kind of compare those, right? And at the time, it's not really fair because the internet was brand new and they knew how to use it. And they're really smart on how they used it. But we kind of took the formula of Borat, which sounds weird, but from a horror perspective, like just drop the comedy and use Borat infiltrating these places he shouldn't be in and asking real people questions and loading the questions. And so to us, that was a little more interesting. And Zach Andrews and I, he's our producing partner, and he wrote it as well with us. We were able to kind of get in and get these real answers, which I think helps with the realism because they are very much factually true. And so we kind of took that approach a little more than Blair Witch because Blair Witch is fake from frame one, right? We tried to do as much as we could to make everything, organic and real.
No, I definitely picked up on that, especially the backstory whenever they were talking about, background checks for workers in these haunted houses and, how people want to take, they're telling you how they want to go basically as far as they possibly can without, killing people. It's kind of like, I understand that because that's exactly how we were. And when we were working, well, maybe not us personally, but some of the workers were kind of over the top. And realistically, no, we didn't know who was working with us because they didn't check on people. So that fear level, that's a reality fear level of people that I don't think they think about when they go into these haunted attractions. And with you brought that, to the foreground in the movie, and I like that.
Well, it was weird. It was a hard choice to make because it was sitting in the edit bay, and then all of a sudden I felt like I had a responsibility to it. But I love the haunt community so much. Like I love haunted houses, I love Halloween, all of that. And so I didn't want that to have this kind of downer to them or that it was unsafe because 99% of all the scare actors and the places, they're great people. But then I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I think it's an important discussion to have is that, look, there's a lot of money being made. There's a lot of this stuff going on, but you see the people in line, and there's an 8-year-old boy in line. Well, I think that the background check should probably be done in some form or fashion. It's pretty easy to do these days. And so I think that kind of precaution would help out a little bit.
I agree too. I definitely agree with that. If they're going to let, maybe kids like under 16 or something. I mean, you could do it just like movies. If it's going to be to a certain point where if there's kids that are allowed there that are under 16 years old or under 14 or something like that, then you can always make sure that there's background checks and stuff like that. But if everybody's over 18, then they can just sign a form and then that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's very helpful. I mean, because you are in the dark with somebody that you have no idea whether that's a plastic blade or not. And I think that's part of the thrill that we also get. When we asked, I wish this question was answered a little bit shorter in the movie, but we asked some girl if there were rumors of a felon or somebody who'd been released from jail is working there, would that deter her from going? She said, no, I'd want to go more. That would scare me. And that kind of blew my mind. But some of these kids, that's their mentality. And they're just trying to kind of get numb to all the other stuff that's out there. So they want something a little more 4D in your face.
And really, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they think they can separate reality from fiction when they go into these places, and they don't want to blend those worlds together. So her saying that, she's probably thinking like, yeah, I want to go, but she thinks she's 100% safe, and really she's not.
No, not at all. And so it's just very interesting to kind of explore, and I think there's a lot more that can kind of be done in that area. And but that being said, there are some awesome places out there and really, really good people. But it is, there's that part of it that I think we all like in the back of our head. Because if you sit there, some of these places are $30 to $50 a head. If you're spending that kind of money, you want to feel threatened, because if you don't have that relief, like a nightmare, when you wake up from a nightmare, you probably want your money back.
And now I know most places are doing like these escape room things, the torture room thing, and that's a huge moneymaker now. Everybody seems to want to go and do that. The whole walking through and just going around corners and stuff isn't cutting it. They want to be tied to a chair and scared shitless. And that's where we are in our world, desensitized and just like in your face. Otherwise, people aren't affected.
I think sex in haunted houses is just going to get weirder, because they've just seen it all. So it just as society in general, we just try to up it every single year, and that's going to be the same way probably in horror and the same way with sex. The same old thing ain't going to cut it.
Oh, I agree 100%. Bobby, you have anything else to say, Zope?
Yeah, sorry, he has to keep specifying that, but I don't, we're at the Jim and Zope cast, but that's like my nickname is Zope, but yeah, my real name is also Bobby. No, I don't think I have any questions. Or at least anything else. But I do really appreciate Bobby for coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time out, and I didn't want to keep you on that long. I know you said you're probably in between meetings or whatnot, or whatever's going on down there. So we appreciate any kind of time that people are willing to give us, and definitely whenever I appreciate something or I like it, I want to learn more about it, and talking to you about this specific movie really helps out and gives me more appreciation for it. So I appreciate you definitely calling in.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys spreading the word. So hopefully we'll talk soon. We got some more information to let out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, we can connect online and chat anytime, and I'll see what you have coming up in the short term, and see if we can share anything for you, and vice versa.
If you got anything, whenever this new project starts going and you're able to give some information, keep us in mind.
You got it.
All right, thanks, Bobby.
Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That's pretty cool. He's a good guy. So far, we've gotten pretty lucky.
And I didn't go into any of that stuff. When you brought up IMDb, I never went on to his. So when I did, I was like, what the fuck is all this shit? He's in a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, no, that's we've gotten pretty lucky now with the people who have been on here. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I don't look at it, because like we wouldn't have known anything about the last guy if he didn't tell us on the show. Mark Hamill and Jeremy Renner and all that kind of stuff. We didn't know because we didn't look. I didn't want to look for him either. But
yeah,
cool. Roger Clemens stunt double. He was on Longest Yard. He was pretty cool, man.
All right, let's see. We got about 16 minutes left. I definitely want to bring up. Did you see Jerry Seinfeld in the news recently?
I did not. When you said that, I had no idea what you were talking about. So tell me.
Okay, you like Seinfeld, obviously, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. All right. So he basically said, and I never really thought about it, but he came out and made a joke about Friends, where he said somebody basically said to him, they were like, "What if your show came out in 2008? Do you think it would have done better than it did back then?" And he said, "Well, then who would Friends copied off of?" And what he's making the joke at, and he basically said, is that Seinfeld is basically, it's a comedy that has no hand holding and no learning. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or no, like, it's no learning and no, crying, stuff like that. Like, Seinfeld is basically all comedy. There's no seriousness. there's no learning experiences that happen in the show. They're not trying to teach you anything.
None.
So
at all.
what he said is he's like, look at it. He's like, look at Friends. Like it's about a show, you know, a bunch of people in New York. He said it's basically Seinfeld, but with the hand holding and the learning. And
obviously.
And in a way, I never really thought about it, but I think that's why I liked Friends, is because it does kind of remind me, like the humor is like Seinfeld, but yeah, it has a lot of the learning stuff and everything else, the emotional stuff.
That's what's the one, like when they say to, you know, people will argue that Friends is funnier than Seinfeld, and that's crazy to me, because that's the one thing about Seinfeld that I love, and I've always said, was you can watch episode 1 until they go to prison in the finale. There is not one serious moment on that freaking show. None. I can't even think of one that's even remotely serious. Even whenever like Kramer is getting taken away in a body bag by the gangsters and thrown into Hudson, it was funny as shit. You know, like the Friends, they had their little, you know, sad moments with Ross and Rachel and all this bullshit, and nowhere near as funny. Nowhere near as funny.
Well, that's what all comedy. I mean, I should say that's what all sitcoms do. All sitcoms, in a way, they have that. It's part of what pulls people in of different things. Like if you're not just into humor, maybe you also like dramatic stuff, or maybe you like you know, seeing heart-wrenching things. That's a typical sitcom thing to do. So I mean, I'm not faulting them for doing it, but I think it says a lot about Seinfeld that they did so well, and they were just like, no, we're not going to make this serious at all. It's pure comedy, and that's what I love about Seinfeld.
Well, that's what's great about Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David is his show. Obviously, it's not a sitcom; it's on HBO, and there's no, you know, studio audience and all that, but it's always hilarious. Like, it's always funny. There's no seriousness. Even whenever he's talking about, I watched an episode over at Jeff's house before we left last night, and it was him in front. Like, there was two women crying in front of the freezer aisle of ice cream, and they were like women. They were battered women, and he's like, "Excuse me, I gotta get some ice cream here." And they're like, "Can you excuse us, sir?" And he's like, "Can't you just move over? I gotta get some ice cream." But it turned into like the whole episode is like just him, like, you couldn't just move down a little bit. You know, you couldn't move down one door so I can get the ice cream. But it's a serious subject matter, but funny. You know, they like, I don't know, it's just funny. But Seinfeld would definitely be the #1 comedy forever.
I honestly, I would kill for there to be more episodes of Seinfeld. I think that was one of the greatest shows. But
they got so close, but nobody could agree. The reunions on Curb Your Enthusiasm they said it was probably going to be the closest they were ever going to do it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but which, by the way, I never did bring this up, but you know that there is a coffee place that's opening up in Canada that's basically going to, I don't know if it's a coffee place or maybe it might be even where they serve food, but it's going to be an exact duplicate of Monk's Diner. And then they're also doing one of Jerry's Apartment, which I should tell you, Jim, next time you come over, I will introduce you to Jerry's Apartment in virtual reality, where you can walk around in his apartment.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's actually really cool. Like it wasn't real popular with people in general, but for me, like somebody who's a huge fan of Seinfeld, I was like, oh my God, this is freaking cool as hell. I think you'll like it.
Oh, obviously. I'll go to the hallway to see the bike hanging on the wall that he never rode.
But you know what's the weirdest thing is that they actually show what they consider the fourth wall. So you can see where the TV, like, you never see the TV. That's just generally, you never see the TV. You never see that wall. And when you get in there and you actually see the TV there, it is so weird, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's all I got to do is turn around and I feel like I'm looking at a scene from Seinfeld. But the second you start to get that TV in there, that wall, it throws you off because you're not used to seeing that. But
now, can you walk back towards the bathroom, turn left down the hall, and you go into his bedroom?
Yeah. It cool. It makes it really interesting, because it's just not something, you know, that you're used to seeing. I mean, it's almost invisible to you on TV. So it's like these things that you've never seen. So then all of a sudden you're there. I think it's totally cool, because it brings a sitcom to life. It would be probably one of my favorite things ever. If the technology ever gets good enough, where they can somehow take like something like that, where you have Seinfeld's apartment, and you like actually get the people in there. Like they can somehow take the show so that all of the voice acting is still there, and they just put it in with people. Like people like walking around in the apartment building, so you can be actually in an episode of Seinfeld. I don't know if I'm really like describing this correctly, but I think I don't know, that'd be so freaking cool.
I agree.
Like a live studio audience, dude. Did that just play through? I got to turn off my Windows sounds.
Yeah.
I just realized my Mixler. That was the. Well, you know what? Actually, that's not that bad. There you go. That's the official tone for we have 10 minutes left. By the way.
Well, what did you have written down you wanted to touch on?
Well, I also wanted to talk about the Apple event, which it's going to happen September 7th, and basically it's going to be the iPhone 7. I have no idea if anything else is coming out. There's talk of maybe a MacBook, which I care about that as much as I care about my farts. So, you know me, I'm not really a MacBook fan. There is talk of a new Apple Watch coming out, but I'm not getting a new Apple Watch. I already have one, and I'll wait until a generation after this one before I start even thinking about getting another one. And I will say, though, that I do love my Apple Watch. But the iPhone 7 is coming out, and I'm actually up for an upgrade, and I do need a phone, so there is a chance that I may get the iPhone 7, although I'm still disappointed because they're holding off the major upgrade, the major, rebuild where everything looks different, everything's supposed to be better. They're waiting for next year to do that, which is unlike them to go 3 years before they release something awesome. Something more innovative, I should say. Although Apple isn't really known for its innovation anymore. They're more known for they're making more application changes than they are doing hardware changes anymore. As far as the innovation goes.
We've talked about that before in the last 2 phones.
Did we?
We did.
I guess we've been doing podcasts for coming up on. Is it coming up 2 years or yeah 2 years?
December will be 2 years.
Oh, that's so freaking crazy to me. Also, just shows how old I am. Which, by the way, on Wednesday, this Wednesday, I will be 34 years old. And I also wanted to say I forgot how old I was, dude. At the table while we were all together, I actually said that I was turning 33. For some reason, I thought I was turning 33. I completely forgot that I was already 33. So yeah, I was off by a year. So then they tell me I'm turning 34, and then that made me feel even worse.
Jesus.
Are you still 32?
Yep.
That's ridiculous. Stop it.
Oh, I'm such a baby.
When do you turn 33?
March.
Okay, well, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I have to look at my phone for freaking people's birthdays, dude. What are you doing on your phone there? You playing Snake? What the hell? Here, I'm gonna let everybody. I'm gonna zoom in on you right now, so everybody can see what you're doing. Huh?
Stop it. Just stop
that's what's happened right now, dude. It's zoomed right in on your face. Well, let's just try to figure out what the heck you're doing there. All right. Well, I guess we're going to get in. Well, there was nothing else we had. New shows and movie recommendations. I'm still recommending the show Vice Principals. Jim, did you watch Vice Principals with Jeff yet?
No.
You have got to have him, dude. It is one of the greatest new comedies. It is so freaking hilarious. It's a new TV show that's on HBO. I also want to recommend an upcoming show. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm assuming it's good just because it looks amazing. But there's a show on HBO coming out that critics are basically saying that it can hold its own while we wait for Game of Thrones to come on. So this is going to be an incredibly good show. And it's called Westworld, and it stars Anthony Hopkins. Some girl.
Okay.
I can't remember what the actress's name is, but everybody knows Anthony Hopkins. He's a badass.
Well, obviously.
And I am freaking pumped up for this show. Now, the show Westworld is supposed to... It kind of reminds me of The Matrix a little bit, but basically it has Anthony Hopkins running some sort of world that is not real. It's like a virtual world, and these people are in it, and you can... I guess there are almost like slaves that are in this world that are forced to do what people that pay to be in this world want to do. So there are these rich people, like these elite people that will pay whatever sum of money, and they can go into this world and they could do whatever they want with these other people who are basically virtual slaves. So yeah, you're a virtual reality slave. Sorry, that was a 5-minute warning. It has got to be one of the weirdest ideas I've ever seen for a TV show, but man, does it sound cool.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to do great.
It sounds so awesome to me. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped up for it. I don't know exactly when it comes out though. Obviously before April, so that doesn't help at all. But
No.
wait, actually, I don't know if it's then. But anyways, I think for the next podcast, I'll look it up and I'll find out when it's supposed to come out. Jim, you need to start watching comedies on Netflix. Not just all horror movies.
Whatever.
You're gonna be like that guy that Bobby was talking about, that like just randomly goes home and then kills your parents or something like that. We don't need that, dude. Okay.
Who looks at my like decor and shit that I watch? It's like, this dude's pretty messed. You need some help.
That's what we don't need that. We don't need you being the next person that goes. The next person just goes ballistic.
If I were to do it, it would have been done a long time ago. This is a new lifestyle choice.
Now you're too lazy for it.
Yeah, now I'm just like, fuck this.
Well, I would, but
oh man, this couch is comfy.
Had all this captain.
Huh?
Said I had all this captain. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't be doing anything after I had all this captain.
You know what?
But
I gotta ask
you. I was in Beaver Valley Mall last week and walked down the one aisle there and turned left and boom, Spirit Halloween. So that made my damn day.
Oh, I forgot that Spirit Halloween was still in there and that they would be back. We'll have to do some more like fog machine photos. Something.
We gotta, dude. September's coming up, and we gotta book us. We gotta plan our October like we did last year.
Oh yeah.
Get our haunted houses going. Get our interviews going. We had a whole month of shit going on last year.
I think I'm gonna have you in VR for when I'm like doing all the horror stuff, dude. I've got things like I got this one where you're basically in an elevator, and I don't know, something like it starts stopping at these different floors and things start trying to attack you. I don't know. It's supposed to be creepy as hell.
That's pretty cool.
There's another one where you're in a bedroom and you can't move, but there's like a ghost that's in the bedroom moving around, and then it starts to open the door, and then basically by the end of it you die.
That sounds like my childhood, but
I think it's I want to say it's 30 minutes or it's around 30 minutes long, and I made it through about 8 minutes of it before I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. So I was like, no.
It's a long time to be with that shit on your head, man.
8 minutes? Dude, are you kidding me? I've wore that thing for freaking...
No, you said 30 minutes.
Huh?
You said 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes is not that long, dude.
I don't know.
Were you getting...
I was ready off that damn thing.
Huh?
I was ready to get off that damn thing when I was over there.
You're probably sweating, first of all, because every time somebody does it the first time, it's almost like nerves get you, and you start to get hot. Like, whenever I first did the Rift, I would get hot in it. But once you get used to it, and you get a good feel for it and stuff, you get really comfortable. And dude, honestly, like, I'll play Minecraft with the Rift, and I'll be in it for, I could be in it for 3 hours. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't bother me at all. And I know I've played Blaze Rush for a ton of time. I played Chronos, I think, for 4 hours straight one time. That's probably the longest I've had the Rift on. But yeah, it's not bad, dude. You just got to get used to it. But yeah, you're definitely trying the horror, because I'm not having you not doing that. Also, did you start playing Pokemon Go yet? Start playing
Why you
Pokemon Go,
put
Jim?
that up? It's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. You're gonna be forced to by society.
Never going to happen.
Why do you refuse to do it, dude? Come on. Oh, crap. Wait, never mind. We have like no time left. So, anyways,
It's just 30 seconds left.
yeah, no, we're getting close to that, but
24, 25, 26, 27. 20.
believe me, it's so. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks to Bobby Roe.
Thanks, bro. Keeps in and see what he down the.
It's interesting, but at the very end, your mic is cutting out like crazy. I have absolutely zero idea what you're saying, but at the plus side is that it's happening right here at the end.
Wait, get the mic, dude.
Do I go now?
What? He didn't even go yet. What? Hold on.
It's the Jim and Zope cast.